What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American, here today to react and learn about real Canadians talking real healthcare. Today, I want to check out this video where Canadians are being interviewed about the Canadian healthcare system, their experiences, and comparing it to the American healthcare system, which I think is going to be really interesting, especially for me. And as it stands right now, I've heard both good and bad things about both systems, so I'm really interested to just hear more about this from a Canadian's point of view. So, with that being said, let's take a look.
Just as a Canadian who's always had healthcare, I just don't get it. I mean, every westernized country in the world has it, and the U.S. doesn't. It's always just seemed remarkable to me. I mean, how can you not have it? Like, your health is everything.
Wow, calling us out. I did not expect that from the get-go. Immediately calling us out. I mean, I have to say, as an American, she's talking a lot of sense. A lot of sense. I don't know. I don't know why this isn't a bigger issue in the United States. I don't know how much Canadians sort of learn about or understand our American healthcare system, but it's quite bad, and it's all based on health insurance and stuff like that. And yeah, it's interesting just hearing from a Canadian, like, she talks like it's just so plainly obvious. Like, how can anyone like live their life in any kind of meaningful, stress-free way if you don't have access to healthcare or have to worry about it? And that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. People who get it.
Healthcare in Canada is something of a birthright.
I don't have anything bad to say about our health system. It's done right by me.
You know that you can trust her as a Canadian, because she had the most aboots I've ever heard abooted. So, and she looks like a sweet older lady too. I trust her. She has nothing bad to say about the Canadian healthcare system.
I don't have anything bad to say about our health system. It's done right by me.
It allows Canadians to sit at home and know that they're not going to get wiped out by medical bills.
That's very true. Oh my gosh. It's nice hearing from a variety of age groups. She is older, and that's when healthcare really starts becoming more and more meaningful to you. Okay, this is really interesting. These are real homegrown Canadians, basically so far saying that the Canadian healthcare system has done right by them. It's great. I'm interested to see if they talk about their observations of the American healthcare system. So let's see. Real Canadians set the record straight. Okay.
Anyone can access healthcare. Anybody at all, no matter how severely sick they are or they're mildly sick. It's just paid for in our taxes. It's not like you see a statement. You never see how much it costs, but it's always there and it's taken.
I don't know if these are laughter or cries of pain. Because you've never seen a bill or a statement? Really? That's so strange to me, because that's so normal, so common. You always, if you don't get a bill in the mail or something after going to the emergency room or some kind of scan or procedure, or even your own doctor's office, depending on your coverage, if you don't get a bill in the mail, you almost feel strange. Like, oh man, where is that thing? Like, I feel weird that I haven't got it. I gotta pay it off. You're stressed out paying for your medical care, and you're stressed out when you can't get the stuff to pay for it. There's no winning. So some of this stuff I can't even relate to.
Taken care of.
You book the appointment, you go, and the card, just give them your number, and good to go.
If you're in trouble, you can get health care and not end up with a bill that's going to kill you.
Yeah. Yeah, well, in the American system that we have, it's very, very common for people to get healthcare coverage through their workplace, through their employer. That's a big deal. And a big part of selecting and having a job is getting healthcare coverage. Otherwise, you have to purchase it privately through the government, or there's other ways. And because our taxes don't go towards our medical coverage, which is, from what I understand, how the Canadian system works. It's funny what I've noticed. A couple of them have said you can get help no matter how sick you are. Whereas here in America, people really only go get help when they're very ill, or really something is really wrong. You might go in for your annual doctor's visit, of course, just to make sure everything's okay. But you don't go in for mild things, usually. Which seems like a big difference. Like, Canadians don't feel like you have to suffer in silence at home until it has to get worse. Then I'll go. That's not even like really a thought, I guess, huh?
Not anything that we even talk much about anymore. It's something you take for granted.
We rely
Wow.
on it, we just don't think about it.
And it's only when we hear our neighbors talk about it, when we talk to our friends in the United States, that we understand what a gift it is.
Good point. I've not thought of it like this. Canadians, you probably kind of take this for granted, which is a wonderful thing. It's just normal to you that healthcare is not a stressful event in terms of finances. It's stressful in terms of being sick. But the fact that this is not something that is really a big stressor in your life, how you're going to pay for your medical coverage. That's probably just like also good for your mental health. It's funny because it's good for your health because you can afford healthcare. But it's also good because you're not living your life kind of stressed out about, I can't get sick, I can't injure myself, or else I'm gonna go broke. Are you a real Canadian? Are you a real Canadian? Okay.
Oh, yes, I'm a real Canadian. I am a real Canadian.
100% Canadian.
Oh, yes, born and bred.
Yes, I'm a real Canadian.
Okay.
A Canadian.
I don't. Was this part necessary? Like, is someone infiltrated this interview and they're like, no, I'm American, haha, and then they run off screen or something?
Canadian.
Real Canadian from Toronto.
When Americans trash the Canadian system, do Americans trash the Canadian healthcare system? I feel like maybe in the past I used to hear that, but now more recently it's not really a topic of discussion, or I think there's more people as time has gone on that say the Canadian healthcare system has benefits and is something we should be looking at, and then we never do. That's what I think. What's your reaction? Okay.
That's just laughable.
I just laugh.
I find it inaccurate, exaggerated.
They're laughing. They're laughing at us. They're laughing, as you should be. If there's an American making fun of... How would you even make fun of the Canadian healthcare system? If you're an American doing that, you have serious problems that you probably can't afford to go get fixed at the hospital. Yeah. What are the criticisms of the Canadian healthcare system? I've only ever heard that there can be long wait times if you're in a very populated area, but that can happen in America too. Maybe not as frequently because there's not as many Americans going in to take up the healthcare facility because we don't want to spend money? Maybe?
We get a little exercised when we watch the partisans take over the discussion about healthcare and drag our system in as some kind of boogeyman.
How could you possibly trash being taken care of? Your whole family,
Yeah.
100% all the time.
Yeah.
Because they don't know.
I think it's crazy to trash the Canadian system. It's a great system. It offers us alternatives. I think for the average person, it's a level of comfort.
When Americans
Yeah. This is really awesome getting to hear from average Canadians what their knee-jerk thoughts on the healthcare system is. And all of them are like, I wouldn't understand why you would make fun of this system. And I would tend to agree with that as an American.
Trash our healthcare system. It hurts a bit because I don't think they're getting the full picture or understand the system at all.
It would be helpful to the discussion if they knew what they were talking about, if they'd had real experience here.
Yeah.
I think if I lived in the United States, I would probably not, like, knowing that I had to cover, I have 3 children, I have a husband, and knowing that the 5 of us had to be covered, I think I would be a little bit nervous of the fact that if one of us were to lose our job or something like that, that there may not be coverage.
So basically, Canadians just either feel bad for us when we make fun of Canadian healthcare, or you laugh at us, basically. Do you use the Canadian healthcare system? Okay. Oh, this is, yes, if they have stories about their experience using the Canadian healthcare system, that's what I want to hear about. That's the thing I don't have any experience hearing or obviously seeing how this system is perceived and used by people in Canada, how they like it.
I found out I have a hyperactive thyroid, so I was losing weight, and I wasn't sure what it was.
The last 9 years, I've had knee replacement.
Yeah, well, 2 years ago,
Yep, like a knee replacement in America, like that would cost a lot of money. That's like thousands of dollars, even if you're covered, because your insurance coverage only covers a percentage of the procedure.
I had breast cancer. So.
I'm hearing impaired.
A few problems with circulation.
Colon cancer.
Wow.
Pulmonary embolism.
Wow.
Cysts removed and
Open heart surgery.
Oh my God. What happened? Yes.
And so I called my doctor and went to see her, and then she sort of made an assessment, sent me for blood work.
And I just called my local hearing center, and the government pays for it.
I wasn't happy with what they had to say, and I went to London, Ontario.
It's like London. Really? Finally, someone contrarian. But no. You just call the doctor, get all set up, and the government pays for it. Imagine that. Imagine.
Wednesday for me to be in Toronto on Friday at noon to see the surgeon.
I had surgery, I had chemotherapy, I had
Wow.
radiation, and I did not pay a cent for any of that.
Wow. This is me. You're joking. You're joking, right?
There's no money, no credit card, nothing exchanged.
The medical bill is picked up.
It's paid for.
You don't pay anything, you show your card.
In a normal situation, you would pay nothing for a doctor's visit. You were referred to a specialist, that would cost you nothing. If you went to a hospital for a procedure, that would cost you nothing.
I can't take this.
Although increasingly, sometimes there are additional costs for things like, meals, or your wife was probably going to have to pay to park.
I got
Meals and parking. You do have to pay for meals and parking. That's crazy. Like, I can't even imagine. It's funny because I think Canadians, because this is normal, you don't really think about this that much. But as an American, all I can think about is what an incredible relief this would be. The comfort of knowing that, because your health is maybe one of the most important things in your whole life. Knowing that that was going to be taken care of no matter what. That would be incredible. Honestly, that'd be incredible. And it's really sad that we live in a country like the United States of America where we think we're doing a lot of things cutting edge and the right way, and yet there's this huge gaping discrepancy, this huge massive hole called the American healthcare system, where so many people are struggling to make payments or not getting procedures done because they can't afford it, or not getting the medication they need because it's too expensive. And yet we think like, oh, America, yeah. It's like, no. And I don't know why this isn't talked about more, honestly.
I got $600 to help reimburse me for traveling to see the second opinion.
What?
And the government actually paid up to $500 per hearing aid.
What would it have cost me to pay out from, well, I couldn't have done it. I don't have that kind of money.
Oh, yeah. She had like a bunch of procedures done and thousands of dollars. What's your copay? So, this is when you get some kind of medical procedure done and you have an upfront payment that you have to make before your insurance pays for the rest.
There's no... What are you talking about?
What does copay mean?
My copay? I'm not sure what you mean by copay.
What? What does copay mean? What does copay mean? What a fantastic life. What a fantastic life Canadians live. What does copay mean? Wow. Yeah. This kind of depends on what your individual insurance plan is. You might have deductibles or copays, which are basically how much you need to pay first before your insurance picks up the rest.
I don't know what a copay is.
Copay, I thought, was a drink you used to get with an umbrella in it.
I've heard about it just from some cousins, in the States. No, we pay nothing.
Wow. Yeah, like every time I visit my regular family doctor, there's a copay of like $50 or $70. Can you choose your doctor? Well, you can choose your doctor here in America, so I imagine you can in Canada too.
You're free to use any doctor you want.
I have my own doctor. Yes, you can choose your own doctor. I have a GP that I go to, and if I have something that I need a specialist for, there's a list of doctors in the area, and if I'm not happy with them, I can get a second opinion and go to a bigger city, Toronto.
I've never had it happen where I've asked for a particular doctor and not been able to get that doctor.
Yeah, nice. Okay. So I think this is actually pretty similar between Canada and America. If you're gonna pay as much as we pay for our healthcare, you better be able to like choose your doctor or at least like primary care physician. If it's a specialist, there's only so many to like pick from, but this sounds pretty similar. Do you wait for appointments? Oh, this is actually something I've been very, very curious about. Because this is one of the, let's call it criticisms I've heard, that Canadians can have long wait times for healthcare procedures and meetings. And is this actually true?
Not an indecent length of time.
Okay.
And if you're concerned about something, I've always got in usually same day, sometime next day.
Oh.
Sometimes it can take a few days, a couple of days.
Generally, you can get in to see your primary care physician quite quickly. But if he's out
A few days. That's great. That's amazing.
of town, if he's not available, if he's booked solid and can't see you, you would then go to the emergency department, see another doctor, and that doctor would treat you.
There can be some waits, but I don't think they're excessive. We hear about these stories of long waits, but I don't know anyone who has had a serious medical problem because they've had to wait too long.
Okay, that's really great to hear. I'm sure there's outliers on both ends of this spectrum, but it sounds like most Canadians, for most things, you can be seen like within a week, let's say. If you live in a really, really, really populated area, it's going to take more time, but you could say the exact same of the United States.
If you're sick that morning, you can usually get in that day or in the next day or two. Absolutely.
Wow, I don't know where they live in Canada, but if you're getting in the same day, you can't do better than that.
If you have elective type things, you're going to have to wait a while.
Delay is more a case of priority. It's a triage thing. If someone comes into the queue ahead of you with a far more urgent need, they'll be taken first.
Interesting. So there is like a triage system. If your needs aren't as great, you have to wait. That should be like the motto. That should be the rhyme right there. Whereas in the United States, I feel like if you're willing to pay, you'll get seen. And you can get like fancy, like, I don't know, more renowned doctors, I guess, if you want to pay for that. So if you're wealthy in America, you're like, things are great. Like, you have access to amazing healthcare. You're going to get seen quickly. If you're just like a normal person in like a average town or city, you're going to get seen pretty quickly, kind of similar to what I'm hearing. If you don't have healthcare coverage or you're not doing well financially, that's the group of people that really, really struggle in America. Although there are certain government benefits you can try to take advantage of, which, thank goodness, at least our taxes are doing that much, you know?
If I'm at all concerned, I can get help. I can get back in the system really quickly.
Got in right away too. I had the surgery within a month after they found it.
If there's an emergency, you are at the head of the line.
Wow. What if it can't be done in Canada? Oh, because I've heard Canadians sometimes come to the United States if you need something done now, or if it can't be done in Canada. So are they going to say United States?
And if I had to have an operation that couldn't be done in Canada and had to go to the States for it, they'd pay for part of it.
Oh, okay.
Most of it.
I've heard of cases where the
Canada would actually pay for it. Wow.
system may be busy in Canada, and they would refer you for that treatment in the United States.
There are some cases where the government system in Canada will pay for a Canadian to go, say, to the United States and have something done.
Wow, get it? That's awesome. So you get the best of both worlds. If you're in Canada, you have the Canadian healthcare system at your disposal, if you need, you have the American healthcare system that the Canadian government will help you pay for. Here in America, you never hear about getting referred out to Canada. I don't know. I've never heard of that before. I don't know. Maybe America does have more hospitals or something, because it seems like most everyone gets seen in America if you're American. But I'm sure there's specialists in Canada that Americans want to go see if they do some kind of special practice or special expertise, I'm sure. Get it?
We all say, because my husband has a lot of American cousins, we're always like, we're so glad we're Canadian.
Why shouldn't we look after one another? Who likes to see children suffer?
Wow.
Canadians would tell you they got very good health care.
No bills, no copays, no drop coverage, no cap.
When you look at the track record of the system, when you look at the efficiency of the system and how many people it processes and the outcomes.
Better prevention, outcomes, care.
You have enough worries when your child gets sick, but imagine that financial burden. We don't have that. We haven't even heard of that.
Real Canadians get it. Wow. Wow. Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely spot on. I think this was a great video. I love that it really seems like just sort of normal, average Canadians talking about Canadian healthcare, and they like it. And this is the discussion I wanted to get in on and see from this point of view. And for that reason, I really enjoyed this. This was by Judson671. I got to give this video a like, because I liked this. I mean, I liked it and I didn't. I didn't like hearing how much better things seem to be than the American healthcare system. All of these Canadians were so optimistic and happy to talk about their experiences, and that is not the attitude you would get from interviewing Americans and getting their experience of the American healthcare system. It'd be funny to do the reverse of this video and see interviews of Americans navigating the American healthcare system. What's covered and what's your copay and deductible, and is it out of pocket or is it in your insurance network, or it's it's a nightmare, honestly. Personally, I've had some experiences with our healthcare system. Certainly not as bad as a lot of other people in the United States. So I've been fortunate in that way. But this was really, really eye-opening to hear about. So anyway, If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on the Canadian healthcare system. What you think of it as a Canadian, your experience with it, and all that. That'd be amazing to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and Canadian culture and learning things about Canada for the first time, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.